Why do people buy trucks? I know that's a stupid question, but hear me out. Why do people choose to buy these types of trucks? Probably because of towing capacity, or they plan on hauling something really heavy, typically. Now, the manufacturers have capitalized on towing capacity because today people use that to win arguments. They'll say things like, well, my truck can tow 30,000 pounds. And then someone who owns a Ford truck will come and say, well, my truck can tow like 36,000 pounds, although depends on the configuration, right? So we want to talk about towing capacity because how much can your truck actually tow? That is the question we're going to answer in this video. Now, I did buy, I did not buy this truck. I don't know why I said that, but I did borrow this truck from Garff Ford here in West Valley, Utah. It is available for sale, and you know, darkened bronze, chrome package, and look at that, already has fifth wheel prep package. Be sure to ask for Ken. Let's go ahead and quickly check out the window sticker so you guys see some of the options and features on this build. At the very top is the description, darkened bronze with the Java interior, and then here is a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause. And then here are all the options. Darkened bronze is $495. High output power stroke was an option. Fifth wheel prep package. Also, all weather mats. Chrome package was $1,240. And then here's a few other things right here. Now, base price does come in at $92,590 with destination at $2,095 for a total price of $105,285. Let me spare you guys in the comment section. Yes, super expensive. Who would buy it? This truck is probably the best to buy if you're going to spend 100 grand, simply because F450s typically retain about 87% of their value. That's based off what I see online. So again, if you're gonna pay a lot for a truck, this is the best to do it with. These airplanes are gonna kill me because they're coming by every 5 minutes or so, so I have to rush. So these are 19.5-inch wheels, 10 lug, commercial grade tires. It's a Continentals 225/70, 19.5. Big capacity. I've done a ton of videos on 450, but I haven't done a lot on King Ranch 450s. 3,970 pounds for single, 3,750 for dual at 110 psi. Although Ford does not run the tires that high. Love the fender flare because of that wide front track. You get larger brakes with this truck, and it just looks cool. If you're gonna get a dually, you might as well get an F450. Good luck finding one though. Now the chrome package just give you the front rear chrome bumpers. I believe the mirror caps right there become chrome. I think they're like black otherwise. Love their dually side. You guys see back here those nice duals. They do give you a steel wheel out back. Yeah, 4 leaves in the main pack with the overload. And right there, clearance lights. This does not have FX4, which I do recommend FX4, just simply because of the skid plates for that large fuel tank. We can probably get that as an accessory. No spray in. And then here's that rear. Has the applique. Class 5 hitch with a 3-inch opening. They give you a 7 and 4 pin. Also, you guys see front and rear parking sensors. No surprise at this price point. And then 430 rear with that nice diff cover. It looks aluminum with some cooling elements. The only negative to this truck is they still don't give it the full LED taillights. That's it. It does have a power tailgate though. That is power. You still have the step here. They've been using this for so long, I don't even point it out anymore because everyone knows about it. Up there you have that camera, and you have a 12-way plug. Actually, that's a 7-pin, but this is a 12-way here for your video. Oh, and you guys see there, 2 kilowatts of power, aka 2,000 watts. Now let's go ahead and discuss this towing capacity because that's the main reason why I'm doing this video. So how much trailer can you actually tow? That is the question. So you guys see right here, this truck does have a rear gross axle rating at 9,900 pounds, 14,000 pound GVWR, and then this truck has a payload of 4,677 pounds. And by the way, I don't know if I want to show this again. So tire pressure up front's 90, 80s in the rear. So 4,677 pounds of payload. Now that does seem low. Now remember, on this truck, you do have this fifth wheel hitch. And that is rated for 35,000 pounds. Now unfortunately, Ford does not show you exactly how heavy that is. And you guys see that right there, 1,745. Man, fifth wheel hitches, I didn't point it out earlier, but man, fifth wheel hitches have gotten more expensive. I remember when I was first looking at them for my fifth wheel, I want to say they were like, I don't know, $1,000, probably not even that much. But that is for 35,000 pounds. I was looking at fifth wheel hitches that were like for 15, 16,000 pound trailers. So let's go online real quickly and see what the actual towing capacity is for this truck. So here are the towing numbers for conventional, but I really want to show you guys the fifth wheel and gooseneck. So high output 430 rear, and here are the numbers for four wheel drive. So 31.9 for fifth wheel, and then there's your gooseneck. So when you equip your truck with this high output power stroke, you can tow 31,900 pounds with the fifth wheel hitch and 1,000 more if you decide to go gooseneck. Now I'm not sure if you guys noticed, I didn't point it out to you. If you did get a single cab, there was a 40K gooseneck package that you can add, so you can literally tow significantly more. You have a higher gross combined weight rating. Therefore, you guys pretty much see a crew cab truck tows less, and a truck with four-wheel drive also tows less, simply because of this number right here, your payload. So that fifth wheel hitch in the bed did reduce this number, in case you didn't catch that earlier. That fifth wheel hitch probably weighs about 300 pounds. Yeah, I would say 300 pounds, give or take. And let's just say 250, just because I've seen these trucks with about 4,800 pounds. Now obviously, if you want to get the best towing truck, you have to skip four-wheel drive. If the truck had a spray and bed liner, this number would actually be a little bit lower, just simply because in the factory they do get these trucks weighed, so that would reduce the payload slightly. Now here's two things you have to understand. If you are someone who actually does need to tow 30,000 pounds, you guys see your payload is 4,677 pounds. Because it already has a fifth wheel hitch there, we're going to keep that number the same. So let's just say all of your occupants and gear is 700 pounds. So this would basically be your payload capacity after all your gear, your passengers, and before you hook up to a trailer. So if that is all you have available, and obviously you have to have a margin of error, so you probably want to try to say your payload is probably 3,500 pounds, because you'd be shocked at how much stuff you can add to your truck, especially if you're traveling. But if the manufacturers say that if you're towing conventionally from this hitch, typically your hitch weight is like 10% of your trailer. I would say 12% is probably a safer number, but I've seen 14, 15% too for worst case scenarios. Now for your fifth wheel hitch, that can get up to 20 to 25%. So let's just do some basic math here. Let's just say hypothetically, you want to tow a trailer that's 20,000 pounds. It's a fifth wheel. This truck can tow 31,900 pounds, so we have a ton of capacity available for towing capacity. However, if you take that number and do 20%, you're at 4,000. Again, if you're at 25%, it's even worse. So the reality is, if you're looking to tow 30,000 pounds, you're going to need a truck that has this kind of payload. So let's just say 32,000 pounds times 20%, 6,400 pounds. Let's go find that truck. Here is a cabin chassis truck. This is an F550 with a hotshot body that is available here at Ken Garff. Now, that truck here, we already discussed it has a 14,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating. This truck has the max trailering, max everything. It has a 19,550 pound GVWR. In other words, this truck has 5,550 pounds more of available payload. Now obviously you have to account for any bed that you put on. Most people, if you're looking to buy a truck like this for your personal needs, you're probably gonna get like a hauler bed, and figure that bed's gonna cost 15 grand, in that ballpark, 16,000, depending on if you get it color match, all that stuff. It can go even higher, but figure the bed's gonna probably weigh about 1,500 pounds. So even after the bed, you can have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 9,000, 8,000 pounds of payload capacity. And so when it really comes down to it, this is really the only way you're going to be able to tow a true 30,000 pounds. Now again, I know guys do it all the time. There's guys, I actually had a friend who had an F450 and he towed 35,000 pounds with his truck, and the truck did it without breaking a sweat. But the reality is, I'm sure he was probably over his rear axle, and again, he was definitely over his gross vehicle weight rating, which means he exceeded his payload capacity. So in other words, if you're looking at payload, this is how you have to set your towing capacity. So if you figure, what is it? We discussed 700 pounds, right? So after your passengers, all that stuff, what did we say the new number was? So after the 700 pounds off of the actual payload, you had this. So figure you can really only tow about 19,500 pounds before you start to potentially exceed your payload capacity. And keep in mind, if your trailer has a 25% hitch weight, that could make you tow less trailer. So again, I know some people don't care about these numbers, but I just wanted to break that myth that your truck can actually tow 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 pounds. Like, there's guys who have half tons that show online that they can tow 14,000 pounds. Now granted, I know that Ford did come back and reduce their towing capacities, but I want to say the Toyota Tundra is probably the worst truck of them all, for sure. But hope this was helpful. This truck is absolutely beautiful. I'll just show you guys really quickly around it. It does have the massage seats. When these trucks came out in 2023, they were actually shipped without the contour seats. So now when you buy these, you now have that option. You guys see right there too, it says King Ranch. Really nice attention to detail. And if you want to use these trucks for bed campers, you have to add the camper package to the truck here. So again, it's a easy thing to add. It could affect the rider of the truck too, so that's why most dealers don't add it. And then here's that rear. Yeah, this is a really nice truck. I think that Ford has one of my favorite cowboy trucks for sure. And I love to show this. One of my favorite things that Ford did for this redesign was add the general measurements for all your temperatures. Now if you want more temperatures, Banks does have an iDash Pro, and I can give you a code down below for a little bit more off if you would like to buy that for your truck. The truck is doing a high idle in 100-degree weather too, by the way. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. That's pretty much it. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Do you care about towing capacity? Do you care about payload capacity? Do you just buy a truck and just say, hey, I'm just gonna tow whatever the heck I want? Because sometimes people do that, you know? People do that. And I'm not saying you should, but I would definitely consider just buying the right truck for the intended trailer that you're buying.